Hello, my friend. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Oh my goodness. I just have to say before we get into this conversation how overwhelmed and truly grateful I am for all of your feedback on the last episode, hearing from you how excited you are that the podcast is now back and how excited you are for the future episodes. Guest recommendations that you have. I have applications for this show pouring in left, right, and center, which to me means that we need more messages like this out there in the world. And I'm so grateful to have the opportunity and the privilege to be able to bring you these conversations. They mean so much to me, and I truly handpick every single person that comes on this show to make sure that you are getting the most incredible wisdom, perspective, inspiration, and lessons. Ultimately, that's the whole point of the podcast, is to teach us how to live a happier life and how to find that inner joy. So with that in mind, I am so excited to introduce you to today's guest. We have never had a musical artist on this podcast. It is a first for me, and I'm really excited to bring you this conversation, and let me tell you why, okay? So who we're hearing from today is Lil Josiey, and he reached out to me on Instagram asking if he could be a guest on my podcast. And I was super excited when he reached out because I knew that he had something important to share and he had a story that was going to make an impact. Now, we got on a call beforehand, which is not something that I typically do. And when we first got on a call just to meet each other, I was just completely inspired by him. The way that he's transformed his life at such a young age is so admirable, and it's so incredible. And to be able to bring you parts of his story today, I hope you get some nuggets of wisdom that you can just draw out of this conversation and directly implement into your life, whether it's for yourself or somebody else that you love. I know that this conversation is going to hit home for you in some way, shape, or form because it did so deeply for me. So in this episode, Lil Josiey joins me to talk about his journey from being an unknown artist to catching the attention of the music industry pretty much overnight, okay? It's pretty wild. And so we talk a little bit about what that journey looks like and how he sort of went from that place of, trying and creating, which is something I think we can all relate to, is I'm just still going and I'm spinning and I'm going on this hamster wheel, and I'm just going and going and going. And at what point does it become me, right? At what point is it my break? Like all of those things that we all go through, especially as people who are creative in this world. So he is a 21-year-old independent artist from Amsterdam, New York. When he stepped foot in the music industry, he had been making music daily with his favorite era of music dating back to 90s punk, which inspires his songs today. I can totally agree and relate to that because same. But he does not just create music for money. He delights in satisfying his fans with high quality music that they can relate to and draw from and be inspired by. As you're going to hear in this conversation, we talk a lot about his personal struggles, including becoming addicted to drugs with the girl that he fell in love with and losing his friend that he met through rehab to an overdose. He talks about how he turned to writing songs just to pass the time and help him stay sober. He also speaks really candidly about why drugs are the go-to thing in the entertainment industry and the biggest change that he made internally in order to stay sober. We also talk about how having faith played a key role in his healing journey and also the catalyst that made him want to change his life for good. You're going to hear about his creation process. You're going to hear about his story. You're going to hear about all of the different things that make him who he is today. And I'm so grateful to have this space here today to be able to share this conversation with you. If you haven't yet, please be sure to share this episode with someone you know is going to love it. And also, if you want to leave us a 5-star rating on wherever you're listening, Spotify or Apple, I would not be mad at that either. So thank you so much for joining me for this conversation. Be sure to reach out to both of us on Instagram and let us know what you love most about this conversation. And if you're listening, take a screenshot right now of the episode and just tag me on social media so I know that you're listening. Okay. That's it from me. I think I have talked enough at the beginning of this intro right here. So let's get into our conversation. Lil Josiey, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast today. We are having a different type of conversation because I've actually never had an artist on my podcast before. I've never had someone who makes music, and I'm really excited that you're my first guest in this niche, in this industry. And I can't wait to dive into your story because I think it's one that everybody needs to hear. It's a really deep story. So I'm really excited to have you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me. I really, really appreciate it.
To get us started off, before we dive into your story, before we dive into all of the amazing things that make you who you are, I want to know what happiness means to you.
I believe that happiness means to me is time spent with the people that you love.
Okay. That is what I think a lot of people miss when it comes to finding happiness. I mean, we're on the Happiness Happens podcast. So we're going to talk about life and all kinds of different areas. And I think, what you just said right there is so important because people, I think, in my opinion, forget that the biggest joys in life are the things that you can't buy. Doesn't matter how much money you have. You know what I mean? Like those money brings you all kinds of other things, but it doesn't replace the relationships that you create with people.
Yeah, that is so true. That is very true.
Right? So I want you to tell us a little bit about your story. I want to hear, tell me the story that you were telling me when we first met, when we were first chatting. That moment that kind of like, I mean, you tell it. I don't want to spoil anything. You tell me.
Do you want me to start from like the beginning, like when I started making music? I started making music when I was around maybe like 17. I always wanted to make music, right? And then my friend Vit, he got like this home studio set up, and I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And I used to kind of annoy the kid because I would just kind of show up at his house wanting to record. And like, so we made a song together and we called it Sunset Shawty. And then I dropped it on SoundCloud. I waited a little bit and then it blew up. It got like 3 million plays and everything. And then like I was like the cool kid in school or something like that. You know what I mean? It was different because like a lot of people that didn't really talk to me started talking to me, and like it was kind of weird for me to like experience that, especially like in school. I didn't really have many friends. The only friend that I really did have, his name was Ryan Fry. He ended up passing away tragically because like he got hit by a car, which was kind of lame, dude. That happened when I was in 10th grade. And like ever since then, my school life was shot. Like I didn't even go to school. Like I never got my diploma. I'm going to end up going to get my GED eventually here. But like I never got my diploma. So I dropped out like 11th grade because like I couldn't deal with the fakeness with the people and everything. And like on top of that, like
can we talk about that for 1 second? Can we just talk about that for 1 second? Because I think that's really important because I can see a little bit of like a mirror in what you're saying right now. Like I also had a friend who died in it was a car accident when I was in I can't remember if I was in grade 10 or grade 11. I can't remember. And it was so traumatic the way that it happened. And I want to touch on the piece too, what you just said, like, you drop this song, it gets 3 million downloads. And then all of a sudden, everybody wants to be your friend. All of a sudden, like you're important to everybody else. What did that feel like?
All right. So the best way I could describe it is, have you ever had like something new you wanted to like try to like new food that you really wanted, and then you got it, and then you're about to eat it, and you're super hyped. But at the same time, like you eat it, and then it's like, oh dang, that wasn't that good. That's what it kind of feels like. Yeah, at least to me, because like
that's a really good
because analogy. Like I appreciate that everybody loves me, but I just like it's a lot for me to like just to acknowledge that like all these people care about me now, but like I still only hang out with like one person,
I've wondered about this in so many different areas of my life. It's like, does this person now care about me because of this other thing, or do you actually care about me as a human being? What I mean?
That's what
is the difference.
I've been struggling with that a lot, but in the end of the day, when like I'm really down and out and I need someone, I know who's actually there for me and who's not. Like tough times call like real friends and stuff. So
that's so true. So okay, so your friend gets in this dies by this getting hit by a car, which is so insane to me. And then you drop out of school
I,
at grade 11,
I
because honestly, that just seems like impossible to deal with.
Yeah, dude, I was super depressed like every day. Like I didn't even want to face the reality that my friend was gone, because like we would chill every day after school and we would go kick it, and like I couldn't do that no more. And like that was the first funeral I
Mm,
ever went to, was seeing my best friend. So it was kind of like, what the heck, man.
that's
Uh
crazy. I'm so
so
sorry for your loss.
dude, I'm so sorry for your loss too. I'm sorry to hear that you went through the same
Oh,
situation. That
thank you.
stinks. But so
I
I'm gonna
know.
keep going with the story, right? So I drop out. I was brought up in Perth High School, right? I drop out of there. I go try to go live with my dad. And my dad
Okay.
is like kind of 50-50. He has good days, he has bad days. But like he likes to drink, right? So like when he gets mad, he gets over mad.
Mm,
So like there was days where like I would miss the school bus and stuff, and he would kick me outside, and I have to sleep outside in the cold and stuff. It got really bad. So like, and then I fell in love with this girl, but that didn't work out. Got really heartbroken. I got very, very addicted to drugs, right, with her. So then that
mm.
eventually,
Oh, with her.
yeah, with
Yeah.
her. I don't know if she still does them or what. If she, I hope she gets better. If not, I don't know. But I hope she gets better. I did. I know I did. But I went back up to Broad Albin. So like I went to Amsterdam for a little bit to give my dad a shot for a year. That did not work. Like he would kick me outside. I would have to sleep outside in the cold. It would be like really, really bad. So I went back up to
Mm.
Broad Albin, right? For this was my 12th grade year, right?
Okay.
I decided, I'm like, all right, I don't really want to do this, but my friends were kind of encouraging me to go to school there and stuff like that. So I was all hyped to go. And right, my friend who just transferred over got transferred over the same day that I got transferred over, and they shipped him out to normal class. And they, instead of that, they handed me some laptop and said, "This is how you're gonna learn on a computer, because you're gonna be a distraction for our students." And
Why? Why would they say that?
that's what I'm saying, bro. And like I never got a good teacher. I never learned anything. And I think it's kind of BS, because they kind of junked me out of having a high school diploma because of that. Because I asked them kindly, I'm like, why can't I just be in a normal class like a normal kid? And like, oh, it's because you'll be a distraction. And to me, it wasn't fair for me, because I feel like they cheated me out
No.
of my diploma. But it's in the past now. I have to go
Totally.
get my GED, but that's why I don't have a
Yeah.
diploma to this day. But besides that, I was with that girl. I'm gonna hop on with the story with the girl now. All right. So I was I was with the
Yeah, yeah.
girl, right?
Yeah.
We was doing drugs every day, right? I got the money from the SoundCloud streams, because I figured out how to get like
Oh, wow.
money from it, and I was like balling,
Yeah.
right? I was balling, and we was, oh man,
Well, I mean, you have like millions and millions of downloads on your
yeah, no,
song. Like,
we was
that's
balling,
crazy.
and that ended me up in rehab.
I want to ask you really quick, what kind of drugs were you doing?
Well, basically anything that was in front of my face, but I wouldn't do like hard stuff like
Wow.
heroin or anything. Like I was,
Yeah.
I really like taking like opiates, like Xanax, and like I used to like doing Molly and acid a lot. But that like it ended really bad, because like I ended up blacking out and not remembering what happened,
Hmm.
and I woke up in the hospital. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, dude, because I did too many Zans, and then I drank on top of it, and you're not supposed to mix the
Oh my
two.
God.
And like it's just like I
Yeah.
felt so good at the time, and then like I overdid it, and then I blacked out, and like I ended up in the hospital. And then like my mom was like,
Oh my
"Oh,
God.
you gotta help yourself, or I can't help you no more." So she sent me off to. My mom loves me a lot, so she sent me off to a rehab,
Hmm.
right? This place in
Good for
Massachusetts
your
called
mom.
Bedrock. Bedrock, Massachusetts is like a recovery center for addicts and stuff like that. And I was there for a little while, and I felt very, very alone, because it was like it was new, and I'm like in front of all these like older people that are addicts, and I'm just like some young kid that I'm like, what the heck am I even doing here? Like, what the hell? And
Hmm.
like, so fast forward like a couple
Did you make
weeks.
friends?
Yeah. I'm gonna get to
You did.
that. So in a
Okay.
couple weeks there's this weird kid. Everybody was kind of like making fun of him because he's like all quirky and he looks weird. And he was playing the guitar and he was like mad good. He was playing like Jimi Hendrix, like playing like him. And I was like, what the heck?
Wow.
I'm like, dude, there's no way. I'm gonna go talk to him, right? And so we start catching up. We start jamming. We ended up making some songs and stuff. My friend, his name is Andy Durand, and we became really good friends, right? After that, and we were making songs every day. Like it was just helping us get the time by, staying sober. We were making songs every day in there,
Mm-hmm.
and then we were showing them to people. And at the end of it, like before we left, we did like a whole concert for the whole wing. It was like super dope,
No
dude.
way.
Yeah, dude, everybody loved it. They were all clapping along, singing.
Yeah.
So I was so hyped that like at least he got to experience that because we were gonna form a group called IO3P, which is intensive outpatient 3 to 5 times a day. It's pretty funny because like that's where like mental health and
That's
addicts go to.
crazy.
That's where mental
Yeah.
health and addicts go to like recover and like talk about their problems. So we were gonna form a group called that, our music group, but like he couldn't handle like the reality of life and the reality of being sober. And like we did drop a couple of songs, so I'm grateful that I was able to experience that time that I did with him and I was able to make those songs and drop them because those songs are so precious to me.
Yeah.
He ended up overdosing and
Yeah.
dying. And like that, like right there,
Mm.
like it hurt me so bad. And I'm still kind of hurting over it because like now that I do this music, I really, really wanted to do it with him because I know he could have helped out so many people. And it's like he threw his
Yeah.
whole life away with the drugs. And like, I know it wasn't him, it was the drugs. And I know that like if he was still around, like he would be helping out so many people. And like, it's just like I got to be strong and keep going for him. But that's like what's been bothering me the most is just like knowing the fact that he's
Mm-hmm.
gone because to me, that was my best friend, right? And so like it's kind
Oh.
of shitty that like I got to deal with
Oh, that's
that,
really
but like
shitty.
I guess I got to like keep it strong so I can help out other people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. And how long ago was that? Did he pass away?
Around 4 months ago, 3 4 months ago.
Wow. So that's like fresh though.
Yeah,
Like he
dude, this shit
just like it's not
sucks.
like years and years and years ago.
Yeah, I had to literally like walk into the hospital and see my like best friend as a vegetable. That shit was rough.
That is so sad. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's all right, dude. I want people to know that if you ever been through that, you can like get through it because I'm still here and I got smile.
Exactly. Exactly. And I have so many questions for you that I want to ask you. And the first one that I want to ask you is about I'm just going to generalize and say like the entertainment industry, like in and of itself. Why do you think that because you hear this a lot, you know what I mean? Like celebrities overdosing and passing away from drugs, or like, so and so like partying over here and doing this and that, and like all this coke and blow and all this stuff is like just everywhere.
Yeah.
How do I word this question? Why do you think that that's like the default thing that people want to go to first?
Because the media feeds us kids information that makes us think that it's okay and that it's cool. So that everybody, that's why honestly, all right, if I'm being honest with you, I started smoking weed and I started vaping is because I seen Juice World do
Yeah.
it, right? So I was like, dang,
Yeah.
he's so fire. I want to be like him. So that's my biggest reason is
So
because they either seen other people do it or because it was pushed on them as a kid and they grew up watching other people do it. So they probably think it's cool.
Right. And it's true. And you have the money and it's easy and it's like, like let's have a good time. Like let's get together, let's party, let's, do this, let's celebrate.
Yeah.
And then also it's kind of like I want to know from your perspective though, like on the other side of this now, because like being outside of the life that you had before of, partying with drugs and like all this kind of stuff, what has been the biggest like shift for you internally? And when you like look at your life then versus now, what was that big thing that you needed to like transform within yourself in order to be able to sit in the place that you're in right now?
I had to lean not on my own understanding, and in all my ways trust in the Lord, and He will acknowledge my path. So
I like that.
that's what.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Can we talk about maybe like how faith has played like a role in this and like your healing and being able to like even just like understand, because you have a really like mature perspective of like, you know, your friend's passing. You just said like it wasn't him, it was the drugs, and like I think that takes people a long time to even realize. It's the same thing with, you know, I was having this conversation yesterday with some friends. We were talking about suicide, and you know, they had said like, you know, if my they had said like if my husband like ever, because we were talking, because we saw like a celebrity who had committed suicide, or their husband had committed suicide, and they had said like, you know, if my husband ever committed suicide, then I would feel like it was my fault. You know what I mean? And so there's like a big difference. And so I said, but what the realization that you need to make is like those things are never your fault. Like you can feel guilty about them and have guilt about them, but it's not your fault that somebody does something in their life. You know what I mean?
People are responsible for their own choices. That's what I believe.
That's true. That's true.
But sometimes like some choices can be changed and like altered by the situation. Like you can do everything that you possibly can for somebody, but if they don't want to help themselves, then they're not gonna do anything. Yeah.
It's so true. They have to want to. And so what made you want to change your life?
My mom, because out of all the people that like I could like really care about, is probably her. And I don't know, I didn't want her to like end up seeing me like I seen my friends. So I try to get better for her and all these people that care about me. I guess they like DM me, make sure I'm okay. So I guess I gotta stay strong for these people, because I guess they care about me too. So, but I'm trying to realize that, because like I don't know, it's weird, because it's not like I'm like Justin Bieber or something where like everyone's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. It's like I gotta kind of like just like I don't know. Like I said, I only chill with like one people, but I got all this internet fame and everybody knows me like on the internet and stuff. So it's kind of like, it's weird, dude, when you compare it to reality. But I don't know, dude.
That's true.
I'm in it. I'm in the wave, you know?
Exactly. And you're still creating, and you're like, you know, you're dropping amazing music and you're doing amazing things. And so, okay, you literally just released, at the time that we're recording this, you just released a new song.
Yeah, it's called Dreaming About You. It's very, very good. It's probably like one of my favorite songs I made yet.
I listened to it and I love it.
I'm glad. I'm actually making a music video with the dude for it Sunday. So I'm really excited. Maybe I don't know if I'm going to drop it like next week or the week after. I got to do it with him Sunday, and then he's got to edit it and I got to get it back. So I don't know when I'm going to release it yet, but when I release it, I'm going to put it on Vivo. So I'm hyped.
That's awesome. That's so exciting. I love that. And then, okay, so let's talk a little bit about your music. I want to talk a little bit about your process, like the creation process. How do you draw on all of your past experiences to create these songs? And yeah, how do you get them out into the world? Like, take me through your process. Like, how do you get inspired to write lyrics and create a beat and like all that?
Okay. So most times I don't really make the beat. I get beat makers that send me beats, right? And then like so they got these wave files. I'll import the wave files and I'll sing on top of them. But what I can do is I can play the guitar and the piano. So when I'm doing live things, like I'll play it on the guitar or the piano. So they send me the beat, right? I'll find a beat that I like, import it, and then I don't know. I like try to like, if something's really, really bothering me, I don't know. It's kind of like meditation for me. I just kind of like sing about it, and then like it just kind of like comes out of me, I guess. I don't know how it works, but I just sing about my problems, and that's the best way I can describe it. Like and I throw some rhyme schemes in there. I talk about my problems, throw some rhyme schemes, and you got yourself a song.
I love that so much. I think that, you know, everyone has creativity within them and how they choose to express it into the world. Right. But do you think that people like dull that? You know what I mean? Like, do you think that people don't give themselves the chance to even be creative anymore?
Yeah, because I think like it's all comes back to like school. Like
Yeah.
school tells you how to think and
Oh,
teaches you like what to do and how to like can't be creative. You gotta think a certain way, right? So we're all pushed to not be
yeah.
creative. So like as a young person, we have this creative mind that's like, oh, spaceships, airplanes, and like we're thinking all crazy stuff, right? But then we go to school, and then the government and everybody like installs like this program, and so we don't our creativity goes down, and then we just become like industry slaves, if that
Hmm.
makes any sense.
That makes a lot of sense because life, like, society tells you how you need to be. And then you just conform into this idea of, okay, I guess this is what I'm supposed to do. And you do all
Yeah.
of these things that you're supposed to do. And then you wake up one day and you're like, what? What did I just do with my life? And who even am I? You know what I mean? It's like, what just
Yeah,
happened here?
facts. You have like a reality check.
Totally.
Because I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be on here. Thank you.
Oh my
I'm
God.
just
You're
happy.
welcome.
Thank you.
I know. I am too. I'm so happy that you're here. I have two more questions for you and then I'm going to let you go. The first question that I have for you is what are you doing next? How are you going to take all of this amazing stuff that you've built? What is your biggest goal? Like, what do you want to do here?
All right, my biggest goal is to eventually get signed to like a big corporation like either Universal or Def Jam or something like
Ooh,
that. That's my big
yeah.
goal because I don't know, I just want to inspire people by saying if I can, then you can too, you know? So
I love that. That's awesome.
then so what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna drop this music video, but in April 26th on my birthday, I plan on signing this management contract with this lady. She's from Saratoga Springs. She's a very kind lady. She owns this place called Putnam Palace. It's like a music hall in Saratoga.
Mm.
Saratoga is like a really big hotspot for music and everything, where I'm from,
Oh, cool. I
and
didn't know that.
she would be finding me like shows all over the place, and we discussed the contract and stuff, and I'd be on a contract for 3 years, and she would help me be my representative and help me find shows, gigs, radios, and basically just be my manager, and she would like probably find me A&R so I could eventually get that deal. So
That's so good. I can't
yeah.
wait to see all of your success. I can't wait to watch you blow up even more. I'm really excited for you. That's so awesome. I'm going to ask you one more question. This is the question I ask all of my guests. I've been asking this question for 3 years and I always get a different answer. And I'm excited to hear what yours is going to be. What is one way for our listener that's listening right now? What's one way that they can create a little more happiness in their day, every day, starting today?
One way.
I know. It's a good one. One way.
Go tell someone you love them.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for coming on my podcast and for sharing your story and for inspiring so many people to pick back up their creativity and their dreams. I'm so grateful for you and that we've connected and that we're now online friends. I love it so much. I care about you
I
and
care
I am
about
so
you.
excited to see all the amazing things. Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. And thank you. And I hope you have the most amazing day. I hope you have all of the success in the world. I cannot wait for all of the great things to happen to you in your life. You are definitely headed in the most amazing direction. And I'm just so grateful for you. So thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you for existing, and I hope you have a blessed day.
Thank you. And thanks so much to our listeners for listening into this episode today. Let us know that you loved it. Send Lil Josiey a message and just tell him how this inspired you. And I hope you have a beautiful day too. And remember that happiness happens when you're least expecting it.